Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Sean's Green Room podcast. Please remember, this is not a comedy show. However, it's a show about the comedy business, where we attempt to pull back the magical veil on the comedy club brick wall, giving you, the listeners, an opportunity to hear the real stories from the artist and the industry directly. Today's special guest. The stand-up comedian has been seen on Saturday Night Live, Comedy Central, BET Comic View, Disney Channel, and Showtime. Ladies and gents, Mr. Finesse Mitchell. Your podcast host has been in the comedy club business for nearly 2 decades. He's worked with comedians like Mitch Hedberg, Bernie Mac, Dave Chappelle, and Jimmy Fallon. Your host, Mr. Sean Traynor.
Okay, well, welcome out, ladies and gents, to Sean's Green Room. Like always, we do a great job of getting wonderful guests in here to entertain us. Tonight is no different. You might have seen this gentleman on Saturday Night Live. You've seen him on Comedy Central back in the day, BET Comic View. You've been on Disney Channel. Man, you got a plethora of credits. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Finesse Mitchell. How are you doing, sir?
I'm blessed, bro. I'm good.
Good. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We brought you in because, A, you're funny, extremely funny. And 2 is we thought you could probably give some insight to the comedy world and behind the veil.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I'm a comedy Jedi.
Yeah, that's what MySpace said. So I was really proud of that.
MySpace.
I know. I gotta tag that one. So, question.
Yes.
The show is called Sean's Green Room, so I like to ask,
who's the Sean person?
that's me.
Oh.
That on the intro part, it has
that
like
wasn't
my face.
explained.
Nah, it just goes back and forth and up and
Alright.
down, and it twirls a couple times.
Okay, I was hoping it was Sean Diddy Combs, but I'll work with you. All right.
So,
I got to read the whole contract, I guess.
Yeah, I got to read the fine print. Okay, so Sean's Green Room, the question I always love to ask is, why do they call it a green room?
Because back in the day, if you were, there are 2 stories,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Back in the day, some of the first improvs, the Chain, actually had a green room, right?
Okay.
So if you remember Bud Selig and back in those days,
Talking like the New York Club up there in
New York
63.
Club, Studio 54 days,
Okay.
way back.
Okay.
One room was actually green, and when it started to franchise out, they just kept consistently saying, green is a nice color. So people just say, hey, go wait in the green room.
Okay, I can see that one. That sounds good.
The other one is that somebody who's a smoker, basically, who back in the day was just loving weed, or reefer, as they called it back in the day, was also like, hey, let's make it green.
Okay.
Right? And it wasn't necessarily just comedy in that regard. It was also like rock and roll. It was also like intimate setting venues that wasn't like an outdoor concert or whatever. It would just be like, hey, here's the green room. And then it just took off whether the room was green or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I still go to some different establishments that aren't in a franchise or in a chain, but their room is green.
I don't think ours is green. Should I paint it green just for shits and giggles?
That room isn't green?
I
automatically think it's green.
I'm colorblind. I don't know. It could be green.
It could be green.
I have no
but
idea.
yeah, you should definitely paint it.
You know what? I'm going to get on that. We'll work on it tonight while you're up on stage.
And then lastly, those 2 answers, 1 and 2, I just made that shit up.
Okay, yeah.
Bullshit. So
It seems like nobody really. And the funny thing is, I haven't Googled it because I just want to wonder. Yeah, I want to hear what everybody. And then one day down the road, we're gonna finally find the answer, and I'll give an award out to whoever had the correct answer.
I was like, why I gotta be the green room?
Yeah.
Why can't it be the black room?
Yeah. What's up? Why is it green? We'll find out one day, and I'll message you and let you know. Okay. So speaking of green rooms, you've been in a few in your
I've been in a few
illustrious 25, 27 year career.
I've only had sex once in the green room.
Oh, only once?
Just once.
Oh, that's
20 years. That's crazy.
That's actually
so disappointed in myself.
Well, it's 100% more than I have. How is Green Room viewed by you as a comedian? Now you're a headliner. You've been doing this for a while. When it comes to a green room, First of all, do you have any rules for a green room that you feel like other comedians should fall by. And
Absolutely.
okay.
If you are a host and even a feature, and it may be your home club, you don't necessarily come in and throw your coat down and around and pick the chair you like and put your feet up without checking with that headliner.
Okay.
Especially for weekend shows where somebody is flown in.
Right.
And you don't invite your friends into that green room.
Right.
Because technically, it's not your green room.
Agreed.
And so that's really like the code of conduct that a lot of new comics don't know. If there's a back of the room in the club and the club ain't sold out, then you might want to just sit in the back of the room until you formally introduce yourself to the headliner who's ever coming in. And then you just, hey, can I hang out back here? Yeah, man, sure.
Yeah.
And everything else. And then, but I've seen hosts or people you don't even know. I've seen people doing guest sets. They be in the green room and you walk in like, oh, hey, it's already packed in here. Okay, all right, cool.
I guess I'll go wait by the bar.
Yeah. Ooh, who opened the liquor? Somebody already opened my bottle. All righty. Okay, guys. Well, can I meet you guys? All right.
Yeah, can I get a shot?
And then they're so green. They say stuff like, "Yeah, he was a dick."
Yeah.
I was a dick.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing your writer signed by
right?
the management.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Those are my carrots. My carrot sticks and celery, damn it.
You get me my carrots. Okay, good. Okay, so as far as green room, now in your early years, before you were a headliner, you were probably in green rooms as the host or the MC or the feature. Any interesting things you've seen in the green room, not name dropping anybody, but anything that you just kind of like in your head go, oh, I want that, or I would never do that?
What do you mean, like I want that?
Maybe something in the writer that you see and you go, oh, I've never thought about that. When I have my green room, I want to make sure this is on my list.
It just depends. It depends on how big you are.
Right.
Depends on how big your ego is.
Right.
Right. It depends on what you need to feel comfortable. And then there are some people, Eddie Griffin, I want a brand new pair of Air Force Ones.
Oh, he changed it. It's not Air Force Ones anymore.
What is it?
Now it's some Converse. He wants some white Converse. That's his shoe of choice now.
If he comes to a comedy club, that comedy club has to get him a pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
And
it's
that's
only
been going
one per
on
show or one per weekend. It used to be like one per show.
Right.
And that was hard to find, 6 or 7 pairs of white Air Force Ones.
What?
But, hey, I mean, he looks nice. And then he gives the old ones that he wore for 1 hour away to somebody that, that has that size shoe.
Right.
Yeah.
I do that with alcohol. I do that with Ciroc.
Okay.
I'm like, bring the Ciroc. Ciroc wasn't in the green room last night, by the way. It's in the writer.
It is. It's Apple, right?
Yeah.
You want the Apple.
Somebody got to go shopping.
Oh, we're going to go shopping.
All right.
That's unacceptable. I think
it's unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
I can't wait.
Did you get your carrots, though?
I did get my carrots.
Thank God.
I texted Orny Adams and I said, they don't have my Ciroc. He said, they charged me $1,000 for the room. I said, me too.
I know. So, I'll get one of you guys. One of these times you're not going to pay attention. And I get a free ride for this weekend. Okay, so.
But there's not too much. There's not too much that I've seen in other comics green room. I'm like, oh, I got to have that.
Right.
I've been in some people who are heavy drinkers and they have it just looks like a nightclub. Yeah. They got their Don Julio 1492, then they got their vodka, and then it's like, are you drinking all this for yourself? But then they also have 5 and 6 people.
Well, you don't have. That's what's interesting about you is you're at that level where you could be that guy, and you choose not to. Like you're a really humble dude.
Thank you,
you're
brother.
really nice. You're really humble. My entire staff loves you. The entire chain. When you're on the bill, they're like, oh man, we love this guy. It's so.
I've been hearing it all my career, to be honest with you.
Keep it going.
I'm starting to think it's true, people.
Yeah.
But I was just talking to Bill Bellamy. You have Bill Bellamy in town this week. And I used to open up for Bill Bellamy. So he used to take me out on the road, and that was my first experience to, going out on the road.
Right.
Not being a local LA comic. And, I'm going out with a headliner, y'all. And just learning from him, learning the road, learning how to act, how to be professional, learning just the social aspect of it and how to flip $1 into $20 more. Right. You know what I mean? I learned all that from him. Yeah. And just seeing him just now.
Yeah,
just now.
I missed
before
out.
we came over here.
Oh, what a shame. I didn't go all the way in.
Yeah, everybody knows Bill travels with a guy named Emery.
Uh-huh.
And first thing Bill said was, Emery, Finesse traveling with somebody now. Look at him. And then Emery looks and said, yeah, Finesse got a guy now. All right. You know, and I was just like, I guess I should have been doing this probably 7, 8 years ago.
You should have. You could.
I just love just showing up.
Yeah.
And it's so funny when you land and everybody looks around like, nobody else? I said, yeah, this is me.
Yeah.
I tell my jokes by myself on stage, just me. You know.
Do you usually choose people to come join you? Because I know this
Yeah.
week you got Raj and you got somebody else with you that's opening.
Right.
But do you just kind of wait for someone to ask, or do you go ask them?
I pretty much carve up the country. I got the Southeast, then I got the Northeast.
Okay, so
I
you got
the
your cat for those kind of little areas that A works well.
Yeah.
He's obviously needs to be nice to you and be a gentleman.
Right.
And
Like I know who has people in that area, or more importantly, I know whose pockets are low that weekend.
Yeah.
And I try to I'm gonna let this person take this date, and I'm gonna let this person take that date. And then in the Dallas situation, you know, Roger's like, I'm already in town, bro. We have a relationship. Come on. You know, and I was just like, I got to bump somebody if I do that, Raj.
Come on, Raj.
You know,
well, he's on the show, so you bump somebody.
Good.
So
Yeah.
we'll put this in memory of whoever you bumped. I'll put it at the bottom of this.
Here's something that comics should know.
Okay.
You want to get to know a headliner, just get to know him.
Right.
You want to say something, you know, that's more in the vein of just the whole comedy lingo. Hey, man, love your comedy. I'm just going to hang out and watch a couple of times, you know. Every now and then, y'all laughing, y'all make that connection. It's all good, baby. Nice to see you. Hey, man, maybe on a Sunday, maybe I can do a guest set.
Right.
Let that comic say, why don't you go late show Friday or late show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now it's in his head.
Right.
Like, hey, you know, do a guest set on Sunday. You do not ask to do a guest set on Friday first show.
No.
On Saturday first show.
Nope.
You don't come to his packed show and be like, can I do a guest set?
Nope.
He does not know you. She
Right.
does not know you.
Right.
And more importantly, after saying you are a comic that headliner does not know, you do not say, so if you ever need an opener, you know, I love to go out on the road. We just met.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. What was your name
What
again?
was your name? Okay, I got the part that you was a comic.
Right.
You skipped guest set all the way to,
I'm gonna.
if you need an opener.
Hey, do you mind I feature for you?
Feature.
Can I co-headline one of these weekends with you?
And man, it's not much in this business that people should know, and there's not no fine, you know, etiquette comedy book, but there's like a common sense book where you just can't swing for the fences as soon as you meet somebody.
No.
You know, establish a relationship with somebody. Show the consistency of, you know, I'm going to come to more than one show, not just a show that I'm going to ask that you put me on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's all about you, and I just met you. So come to a show, come to another show, then ask, can you
build a
you know what I mean?
relationship?
Build a relationship.
I think it is. A lot of it is, you know, it is an opportunity for a comedian to have even a guest spot on a real weekend. Okay, and that's a friendly gesture from you to even allow them to potentially ruin your show.
Right.
I mean, you know, if they get up there and say some stupid things,
Right.
I mean, not only are you digging out a hole, but it could tarnish your relationship with the club. You know, depending on the venue, it can ruin a relationship with some of your fans. You know, so it's a risk that a headliner does to allow somebody to get on the show. So yeah, I think it should be a friendship of some sort established before you even have the balls to ask.
Right.
Okay, so very good etiquette, love it. Road. Okay. So the fans, they probably don't know much about the road, but you as a comic for 20 plus years,
15.
15? Is that where we're putting the number at?
That's what I'm putting.
Okay, we'll put it there. Yeah, 14 and a half.
Yeah. 11.
Yeah, 11. We'll go with that. So you have to go from city to city, venue to venue. You can either travel, probably nowadays you're doing just, you know, air flight. You don't do caravanning in a van with 2 other comics. But back in the day, I would assume that you've hit the road in a vehicle that could barely get to the destination at some point.
I was always driving good.
Okay.
Always.
Look at you. I'm so proud of you.
I was never a struggling comedian. I was always like, hey, I got a great day job and I'm going to go do some jokes at night. I was that guy.
Okay.
Versus like there's some comedians that's just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to try comedy.
Right.
I don't recommend that. Like you don't have a job and you're just gonna start trying comedy. You still need to eat.
Yeah.
You still need to get paid.
Yeah.
Nobody pays you in the first 2 years.
That is so interesting because you're exactly right. I see a lot of, and some of them are really, really funny.
Right.
But they are living for the comedy,
Right.
and not trying to live for life, and then
Right.
making this like an accent to the
Right.
world. So yeah, daytime job. So what did you do when you first got started doing comedy?
Medicare insurance.
Okay.
I was an insurance guy.
You
Humana. Y'all heard of Humana?
Humana? No, I have never heard of Humana.
Never heard of Humana?
I probably have.
Yeah.
I just let my insurance guy
Medicare
check the box.
insurance, South Florida. I went to
Okay.
the University of Miami.
Right.
After I graduated from there, I was just literally looking around like, what am I going to do with my life? I'm a smart guy. There were just things on that campus that I never knew existed, like the library. I never went.
Okay.
Career planning and placement. Didn't know
Right.
what that building was for. I was literally just walking around, just like on the yard. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like throwing parties, big frat guy, playing football for the Miami Hurricanes.
Right.
Watching my friends get drafted left and right, and thinking, well, did I do this right? Because
I knew I should have grabbed that
I
one guy.
know
got that
they
one.
said I graduated, but I don't feel smarter. And where's my job?
Where's my job? So you got to get insurance.
So I just went and applied for this thing called Primerica, and everybody knows what Primerica is, and so it's like a insurance. What do you call it? It's not a pyramid thing, but it's close to the way they run it.
The levels
Yeah.
of it, and you can sub sell it out. And,
Right, and I got to regional manager.
Okay.
And the next step was what they call RSVP. No, not RSVP, but RVP.
Okay.
A regional vice president. And so, but then the guy who brought me in was like, I know you're doing comedy, but if you become an RVP, you really got to focus on insurance. Like you really got to focus on building your business. And the next week I kind of quit.
Wow,
I was like,
that was the defining
that was
moment
the
for you to
defining
go.
moment. He made me choose.
Wow, were you making any money as a comedian
Hell
at that
no.
time? And you
I
still
was
made
just
that.
doing local shows.
Did you stay with your position, or you literally walk out?
Well, I said, well, I really want to do comedy.
Right.
So, and the responsibility, and at the time it was like, you can make $100,000 a year doing this.
Okay.
And the guys who were making $100,000 back then are now making like $3 million a year. Like they're really killing it.
Right.
And there was a group of us, and sometimes like-minded wolves out there travel in a pack.
Right.
So I knew I was going to be one of those guys.
Right.
But did Finesse Mitchell want to be the insurance guy?
Right.
It wasn't sexy enough for me.
I could see that.
So what I did was I went and I got another job that was more structured, and it was corporate, and it was with Humana.
Okay.
And I could go sell Medicare insurance in South Florida, which where the market was huge. Everybody goes down to retire.
Yeah.
But then I can go do my comedy.
So
and
like
that
a
was
9
the
to
move.
5,
Yeah,
and
so
then
9 to 5.
and then you had the weekends free, and
Yep.
Oh, good. And so, were you funny throughout college? Like, at what point did you think, oh, I am funny. I want to be a stand-up comic?
I don't know when the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air came out, but I would assume it was probably around 9th grade for me, or something weird like that. I believe I was younger, when I saw that show. And I'll never forget my mom saying, "Oh, he's getting your check." And I said, "What do you mean?" "That's you."
Ooh.
And I said, "Who?" She said, that guy right there, that's how you act, that's you. And I said,
Interesting. So mom put it like
Mom
into your,
put it in my ear,
spoke
like-
it into the universe, and
Yeah.
put it in your brain.
kind of, and I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, she just kind of put it on my radar that you're that funny. You're conversational funny, you're silly funny, you're charming funny, you're an asshole jerk funny.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But all the different levels of funny,
You got it.
you got it. And I was just like, okay.
Okay, Mom.
So I just kind of always remembered it. And when I actually left the University of Miami, I got with other talented people in music.
Okay.
I worked for Luke Records. A lot of people didn't never knew I worked for Luke Records.
Okay.
Two Live Crew, everybody. Everybody know Luke.
I was about to say, I didn't see that on the Wikipedia or
I took that
yeah. And delete.
And so, but I wanted to be a rapper.
Okay.
And so I made a demo, and it took real close friends to be like, "That's not good." Yeah, man, you don't sound like the people that's out. That's not good at all. So, what else? What else can we do?
You hold the microphone well, though.
Yeah, the way you hold the microphone is believable.
Okay, I believe that.
But what you're saying in the delivery,
Okay, so
You was playing Jackstones. What rapper played Jackstones?
Yeah, I tried doing basketball, and my coach came to me after like 2 weeks, and he's like, "No, like, go run cross country. You're terrible at this." It's like
those people are just as important as in your life as the cheerleaders, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need the people that's just like, it's not you.
Yeah.
And it gets you out of that lane, and
Right.
it makes you not waste time.
Yeah.
Only thing that ever there's a real conflict internally is if your ego is saying, "Nah, you caught me on a bad day."
Okay.
No, I didn't.
No,
I didn't. I've seen you 3 times now.
It turns out you are not
You're
good
not
at
good at
rhyming.
this.
Did you know
Yes.
that those 2 words don't even rhyme?
They don't even rhyme, bro.
Okay, so you've now you get out of the college, you moving into the comedy thing, then you get into BET Comic View, then in 2003 you get the opportunity, which comedians are just waiting for, is Saturday Night Live.
Right.
So did you take any kind of like improv stuff before?
No.
Like, how the hell did you get Saturday Night Live? Like,
Same thing Bill Bellamy said. How the hell did you get Saturday Night Live?
Really?
Timing.
Okay.
Everything in the comedy business is probably 50% talent.
Right.
The other 50% is information.
Okay.
People have to choose somebody.
Right.
Acting, casting. When somebody's casting, they're looking for somebody.
Right.
They're only going to choose from who they get to see.
But you were in Atlanta. Did you move to New York?
I moved to LA.
Okay, you moved to LA.
I was in LA, and I just happened at the time. The way the story goes is that, me and my girlfriend at the time who were living together, we weren't seeing eye to eye, and we were basically on the cusp of breaking up.
Right.
And I drove up to the Improv on Melrose.
Okay.
It was like 1 a.m, just mad, just like, And I heard Jay Moore talking to Dane Cook, and he was saying Tracy Morgan was leaving Saturday Night Live. I just heard the information.
Okay.
I just happened to be in the right place at the right time to be like, and I had a manager.
Okay.
I had a manager, dope manager, 3 Arts.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Big company.
Okay.
Tracy Morgan leaving Saturday Night Live. Yeah, Finesse, they looking for the new black guy. I'm black.
Turns out I got one of these characters.
Send your tape in. And I'm like, oh, okay. I got to get a tape. So I immediately was like, I got to get a tape.
Right. Did you do those impressions at that time?
I didn't do shit, bro.
Okay.
I just did stand up.
Okay.
I was Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, Damon Wayans, Chris Redd, Jay Farrell. I just did stand up. Now Jay Farrell does impressions, but
Right.
I just was a stand up comic. Jay Moore, and out of the sketch world, they'll hire a stand up. You know what I mean? They'll hire 2 or 3 stand ups. And I was that guy. I remember going to my manager and I said, "Hey man, Saturday Night Live, I was looking for a black guy." "Yeah, but you don't do sketch comedy." I said, "But I'm black."
Right.
"Man, let's send in a tape."
Okay.
He said, "Go make a tape." So I just did a tape and shot myself doing this world famous Finesse Mitchell bit out there in LA that was called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay.
And it was how black people at the Magic Johnson Theater found out they had to read for 2.5 hours because none of the movie commercials said it had subtitles.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was just me acting out a girl at a birthday party.
Okay.
And they was having a birthday party inside the movie theater. And there was, the dudes trying to tell them to shut up. And it was the white people being pissed, but the black people jumping on the white people saying, "Don't you tell them, we'll tell them." You know what I mean? And it was just one of those, moments, man. And the girl's character's name was Starkeisha.
Okay.
And her girlfriend was Escalade and Appreciante. And it was like, "My name is Starkeisha, Crouching Tiger, Crouching Tiger." They were cheering for the movie came on. "Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon." So it was just one of them feel-good comedy bits where the crowd could dance along and this and that. "Hey, Starkeisha, hey, girl, call me. Okay. And all this going on in the movie theater. But the clever thing about the joke, I was 7 different people in that one bit.
Right.
And I acted them all out.
Okay.
So when I did the bit on tape, SNL saw it and they were like, "Hey,
All right. This guy does stand up and he does characters.
yeah, this is pretty creative."
Okay.
And then when they asked me to come audition, it was probably like a good 50 of us, and then they narrowed it down to like 15. Then they narrowed it down to 10.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm in,
This is
Mama, I'm still doing this.
I have
Yes.
a chance. This is great.
Narrowed it down to 5. I'm in the 5.
Okay.
Me, Kenan Thompson,
Okay.
D. Ray Davis, JB Smoove, Kel Mitchell.
Dude, that is a list. That's some talent right there.
So I'm like, this is cruel.
And did you know any of those guys before this moment, or are you meeting
I knew
them
JB Smooth.
Okay.
And I knew I knew everybody.
I was about to say,
we
you
knew
should have known
everybody.
all
Now at this point in LA, it's 2003.
Right.
So I've been out there since 2009. It went from Comic View to like Finesse is pretty dope.
Right.
Because you go to LA thinking you're just going to get on stage. No, you're not. No, you're not. You better find that coffee shop or that whoever does a room or whatever.
Yeah.
But those 4 main clubs, like the Improv and the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory, you're not getting on those stages. So you have to find somebody who's promoting their own night, maybe at those clubs, and they let you,
hop on and build a relationship with them. See more than 2 shows.
You just keep showing up and you support their shows and they let you on the show. It takes a year and a half for people to really take you seriously.
No, it's
after
true.
you got off the plane or out of somebody's car or you know, however you got to LA.
Right.
Talking about you a comedian that nobody's ever seen before.
Did you get a daytime job while you were out there?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
I worked for BET.
Okay.
I was temping. I was a temp worker.
Oh.
I was on EDD, government assistance. I don't think I got food stamps or anything, but I definitely got like a unemployment check or something. And it wasn't a lot. It was like maybe $200 every 2 weeks or something.
Right.
But I looked forward to this $200. Yeah. And I always tell comics, especially guy comics, not girl comics, strip your life down. Strip your life down to the bare bones. And it was the insurance guy at Primerica who told me this. He said, find out exactly how much money you need per month to live.
Okay.
Not how you would like to live.
Of course.
To live.
Right.
How many bologna sandwiches? How many clean shirts, clean socks, underwear? Find out that number and then make a goal to make sure you get that number each month.
Okay.
So when you double that number, you're going to start living better and you're going to feel rich. Right. Even though it's going to be way below the poverty level of what everybody else is living, you're going to think you're rich just because you went from because he says, what would that number be for you? And I said, probably like $650. He said, so $650 a week?
A week?
I was like, no. A month.
Yeah. So what cardboard box were you going to live in?
Yeah, he was like, all you need is $650 a month? I said, yep. I said, my rent is pretty much $500 a month.
All right.
And that other $150, bro, food, I guess. I don't know.
I don't think...
Finesse, we can do that. Hell, he was like, I'll loan you $650 a month. But I applied that to comedy.
Right.
And so for like when me and my girl broke up and I was still in LA, I started sleeping on my friends' couches. And I found 2 couches where I can consistently
bounce back and forth.
I'm that dude on the couch.
Right.
You know, they were my boys. I'm that dude on the couch.
Right.
I saw roommates come and go.
Right.
I was still that dude on the couch.
Yeah,
you know,
nobody gets mad about the couch.
New person comes in to rent the room that I couldn't afford.
Right.
The other 2 people be like, oh, and this Finesse, he stay here from time to time.
From time to
Which
time.
pretty much meant
like Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but then SNL happened, man, and it just changed my life. You know, that 5 got, you know, brought down to 3. Me, Kenan Thompson, and JB Smooth. They brought JB in as a writer.
Right.
And I did a 4-year career, and Kenan Thompson is on his 17th year, I think.
He's retiring from there this year, right?
I think so.
Yeah, now he's getting his own show. Well, I did see so. that stint ended with you with like 2005, 2006 in
I
Saturday
started
Night
in
Live?
03 and I finished in 07.
Okay.
Something like that.
So now it's been years, and you just worked again with Lorne Michaels again on a project.
Brothers in Atlanta?
Yeah. So you must have left an impact on the guy.
I literally didn't talk to the guy for like 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
I literally just watched comedy go by. You know, I was in Miami at the time. I left New York City, left SNL, left that lifestyle. It was a lifestyle. I was telling my guy Jeannie the other day that, man, I partied. And that's what really happened to me in my career. The frustrations that I would take out on the show, I would just go have a good time at night in the street. And me and Kenan and a couple other buddies, we went out almost every night. Like we literally went out every night. Right. And people say, oh, so you went 3 times a week? No, we went out every night. Every night at 1 o'clock in the morning, we were meeting up at whatever night there was to be in that city. You know, and during that time, everybody was bubbling. You know, Ashton Kutcher was bubbling. That 70s show just came out. Danny Masterson, those guys, Lindsay Lohan, Justin Timberlake, Scarlett Johansson. Everybody was just like babies, you know. They were all doing their solo thing.
Right.
And they were, you know, and once you break out and become the solo person and you're hot and you're young, you know, SNL asks you to come host and, you know. So we were meeting these people either from the show or meeting these people literally in the clubs.
Right.
Leonardo DiCaprio is sitting next to you with a cat down like this, but these hoes don't know it's Leo.
No.
Well, we sitting up there talking all night.
Nice.
And he comes in by himself. And I think I got that from him and Colin Farrell. You remember Colin Farrell? Certain celebrities that I would see at SNL, which I thought was the height of entertainment for comedians and the pinnacle for just actors to get on that show. Some people literally showed up by themselves. They might have a PR person,
right,
but they ain't had no entourage.
Right.
So I kind of, you know,
well,
adopted
you bring an
that.
entourage, it's just more liability around you too. You know, like you come in solo, you kind of have to fend for yourself. But if you come in with a big crew of people, any one of those guys could do something stupid. That's a reflection on you too. So.
I just think it's what people learn and what people's idea of celebrityism is.
Okay.
And when you insulate yourself with people doing shit for you 100% of the time, then it's very easy for people not to tell you the truth.
Yeah. You got a whole bunch of yes men.
You got a whole bunch of yes men. You are now the cash cow. Everybody is protecting their interest in that investment.
Right.
But nobody's telling you no. Nobody's telling you the truth.
Right.
You know. And then before you know it, you peeing on little girls on videotape,
hey,
and none of your boys told you that's not cool.
That's not cool.
Not
Not
cool.
cool.
And
but,
so,
you know, hey, we all make huge
my
mistakes.
mind's telling me no.
Oh man,
His boys should have told him no.
somebody should have. I don't think that seems like a lot of it seems common sense.
I think every time you do something stupid, the Morgan Freeman voice should be like, "Don't do that." I used to do that when I was your age, and now I'm telling you, don't do that. That is the wrong street to go down. Andy Dufresne went down that same street.
1 mile. Oh, okay. So before we wrap, not literally, we learned that we're not going to really rap.
I'm the FINESSE. I'm impressive. And ladies find me hard to handle because I'm aggressive. And if you can't handle aggression, then see ya, because I'm going to keep on stepping. I grew up quick for my age. Because of my past, I come hard with a blast that'll last. And after a night of me, you just might ask and she'll say, God damn, I'm still feeling the aftermath.
That wasn't that bad. I think we should put a beat to that. What do you think? Let's put a beat to that.
Just impressed my own guy. You like, what the fuck was that, Finesse?
That was it, man. We're going to drop that single. This is going to happen. Okay, so I asked you earlier, first when you first realized. So what was the first joke or the first time you did a joke and you realize, holy shit, I am a comedian? Do you remember the bit?
One of my favorite bits was that I had bill collectors calling all the time, and I said, when you really like just poor and fucked up, when bill collectors call you pretending to be your friend, like they can't do that. Like you got to be some sort of law against people tricking you on the phone, because you know how dudes are. If it's a girl, you answer the phone, hello, they be, hey boo, how you doing? Like, hey, who is this? Don't act like you don't know who this is. Oh, hey, what's up? What's going on? Nothing. What you doing? I'm about to go out. Oh yeah, where you going? I'm going to the club later. Okay, what you gonna wear? My Tommy Hilfiger shirt. Oh, and your Tommy Hilfiger pants? Yeah, how you know that? The outfit you got from Macy's? Yeah, how you know that? This Macy's, motherfucker. When you gonna pay the bill? I'm like, bitch, who is it? Where's your manager? That was one of my first jokes.
There you go. So good. So that was you get that, and then you get the vibe, and then you decide, hey, I'm gonna continue this path, and look at you now, man.
Yeah, bro.
You've done an excellent job.
Figure out the style. I would always tell new comics, what is your style?
Right.
Not what you see on stage and you say, I'm gonna duplicate that. What do you do good?
Right.
Do you tell jokes good? Are you Ron White? Do you just stand at a microphone and just tell one-liners?
Right.
John Witherspoon, Robert Powell.
Right.
You know, there's certain people that can just stand at a mic and just tell a joke. Are you a storyteller?
Right.
Can you make people laugh about your uncle or your nephew or your niece, your wife, your ex-wife? But that story, does it resonate and relate to people in a way where my wife does the same thing? Holy shit! See, I told you. You know, I'm like, that's what people laugh at.
Right.
And then if you're taking them somewhere, and it's totally left field, you tell a joke about the galaxy.
Right.
Well, what if the audience aren't, you know, like what I call the higher intelligence or nerdy or just, but you're all of a sudden telling jokes about Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers, a whole bunch of space shows, and then you bring it around to Star Wars, and then before you know it, you're talking about Lord of the Rings. And people are laughing the whole way, even if they've never seen any of that shit.
Right. And
they're just like, holy shit. To me, that's a great comic. There's a comic named David Cow down in South America, in South Africa. And it was him and Trevor Noah.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know this, but like in Africa, you're black, and then you're colored, and then you're white.
Okay.
So, you know, Trevor Noah is considered colored.
Okay.
And this guy's considered black. He's darker. Genius. Funny.
Okay.
And so when I was on a tour in Africa, and he was the headliner. He wasn't the headliner, but he should have been the headliner. But everybody knew it was an American tour. It was a Just for Laughs American tour. I don't think it was Just for Laughs. It was another company. But this guy was on the tour, and instantly fell in love with him and watched his comedy, and all he told was African politics. And he talked about the George Bushes, the Barack Obamas, but it was African politics. I did not know one politician.
Knew nothing about it, but you could still follow this guy's.
I laughed my ass off.
Wow.
And he stood the people up every show to the point where we were like, you got to go last.
Yeah, I don't want to follow this guy.
Nobody wants to follow that, bro. Like, you are a heavy hitter. And but for me, that's my style. When I start talking politics, it's just funny, bro.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get the right mad. I'm not gonna get the left mad. You're gonna laugh. You got a sense of humor. You're gonna laugh. Yeah. When I start talking about my family, my wife and kids, my daughters, you're just gonna laugh. You may say your daughters do the same thing, but you never put it in that context to be like, but the way I did it, you know, I came to hear that.
Yeah.
We left them fuckers at the house. Oh, I came to hear this. Yes. When I talk about my wife withholding sex, I feel every man's pain. Mm-hmm. You know, I see it on their faces. Mm-hmm. But they sitting with their lady, so they can't really be like, they looking at me like, keep going, keep going. You know?
Can I get the CD of this one?
Yes.
You selling these? I'm just going to play it a few times around her.
And when I'm talking about dudes and women like, that's you. Right. I just try to find that common thing. And I feel like comics need to find out what their thing is before they're copying other people's thing.
Right.
You know? Sometimes if you say something that's instantly funny, you heard it. You heard that,
yeah. And maybe
you didn't write
subconsciously.
That.
You heard it,
yes.
But there's out of
you
the
didn't
gate.
You didn't even steal it in a malicious way.
Right.
You heard it a year ago.
Right.
You got back on that subject. The next thing you know, you say, "I'll just tag it with this, and I'll tag it with that." Right. So it definitely started out as your joke. Right. Those two tags belong to somebody else.
Right.
And the more you tell it, then those tags get bigger, but they go more into somebody else's material and away from your original thing that wasn't getting that many laughs.
Have you had jokes stolen? I mean, obviously.
I am one of the probably top 15 of lifted comedians.
They just love your...
I mean, it's an easy style to copy.
Okay.
I don't even care if it's crowd work.
Okay.
I don't even care if you see me doing crowd work. You will do the type of crowd work I do and do the same format and ask the same questions. Everybody can say how long you're married.
Right.
Right? Oh, how long you guys been together? Everybody, that doesn't belong to anybody.
Right.
It's that follow-up question.
Okay. Well,
right? You know, so I am not even going to say it because
people right now are pulling out their notes.
I already know what I'm talking about. You know, I know how people like remix stuff and then think it's theirs.
Right.
I see old Comic View, BET Comic View bits in new comedians.
Right.
I see people that I worked with 2 years before on a show, and I come back in town and I watch their set.
Interesting. Yeah.
7 minutes of that set is my set.
Yeah.
They don't even remember who they heard it from.
Right.
You know, and they don't even remember that. Oh yeah, that's I don't have to say that.
Right.
Yeah, no, you don't have to say it. Don't say it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, meaning like, I don't have to say that this show.
Yeah.
This weekend.
You mean forever?
Yeah, I mean forever, bro. Don't even say it.
So do you ever like, what do you do as a comedian? I mean, there's no union for you to go attack these guys. You're not going to hit them with a cease and desist.
I just went to Saudi Arabia. I did a show, and one of the jokes that was just really funny, that because all the women wear hijabs, and that's not hijabs. That's what the dudes wear. But the whole And I said, y'all ladies are so beautiful. Oh my God. I mean, from here to here, y'all are the prettiest women I have ever seen in my life because they all covered up. So the only thing you can see is their eyes.
There's some beautiful eyes.
I went to Laugh Factory not too long ago, and one of the comedians that was on that trip, oh, you women in Saudi Arabia are so beautiful. You're beautiful. You're pretty from here to here. And I was just like, I'm in the room.
Oh, no.
I'm in the room. Hey, man.
Whoa, that's my time.
That's my
gig.
And I don't mind calling people out.
You shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't. I mean, I get it when somebody accidentally ganks something, just because it's a broad topic, and I remember when I tried doing comedy many years ago, and I remember one of my bits, Jay Moore came up and he did a joke. Now he didn't hear mine, but he did a joke that was so similar. And I remember just in my head going, oh, I can't do that joke, but at least I know I'm on the right path. Right. But but once you find out that someone else has done this joke, and probably done it better, okay, at least longer, what the hell is wrong with you that you don't feel like you're a liar and you want to pull that? As soon as I hear a joke that's so similar, I'm like, nah, this is out of my repertoire of material, because I don't ever want to be plagiarizing somebody's material.
If you're a rapper, there's no way you're going to be Young Thug or The Baby, or for the older people, Lil Wayne and Jay-Z, But there's no way you're going to hear a rival rapper or another rapper quote a line and you're like, that's dope. And then you like, and all of a sudden you start writing it and just trying to change it a little bit. People are going to know where the premise came from. You know what I mean? And and premises are open to everybody. But what makes you a great comic is you made that so personal to you and your story, your real story. If you're talking about your grandmother and what she used to do to you and and you don't have a grandmother, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So now you just changed the grandmother to your mother. I used to do this joke. My mom is only 15 years older than me, so we never got along because we're in the same age group. You know what I'm saying? We only had one TV. She liked the Super Friends. I liked the Smurfs. I hated her on Saturday morning. They came on 2 different channels. And then, it was tough, school work. She couldn't help me with my homework. I couldn't help her with her homework. We both be sitting at the kitchen table just staring at each other. My teachers would get mad at me. Finesse, bring your mother up to the school. I want to meet your mother. My mama have her own homework problems. She don't have time to come to the school. Bring him up to the school. I want to meet your mother. I said, okay, you'll see. So I told my mom. She rode her bike up to the school the next day. Hey, Miss Green, sorry I'm late. I had drill team practice. That's okay, Miss Mitchell. Put your book bag down. I want to ask you something because it's been going on all week. Finesse? Yes, ma'am. Who signed the Declaration of Independence? I don't know. Finesse, I gave you a whole week. Just give me one name. Who signed the Declaration of Independence? My mama said, hold on, Miss Green, let me ask him. Bam! Boy, if you sign the damn thing, tell her. That's the joke.
There.
That's the joke.
Yep.
To go in a club and hear a female comic say, so my dad is only 15 years older than me, so I couldn't help him with his work, and you'd be like, your dad? What? I'm in the room.
Oh, no.
I'm in the room. And these are jokes you put on Comic View.
Yeah.
So when you
that
come
is
back,
very specific,
bro. When you come back and you see the younger comics or just comics, you're like, you've been watching too much television.
Yeah.
You wrote it, right? That is your version.
Sure.
But that's not your premise. That's none of that. So
I remember the Rogan and Mencia thing that happened, 20 years ago. That was a very broad joke. It was you got to build a wall. Who's going to build it? But I mean, these other ones I hear people steal. It's so specific.
Right.
Okay, there's no fucking way that she wrote this bit, if she did the whole distance of that. So you call them out, and what, do they fucking apologize? What do they do?
I just try to shame them.
Yeah, you
know, it's not even in a malicious way. I'm like, oh, my material was killing.
Do I get half the check?
But here's the thing: to walk up and let them see you, and to just see somebody's face, go, thank you.
Ooh.
Hey, Finesse,
did you watch my set?
Hey. Because it also jars their memory of where they got it from.
Yeah.
A lot of people who steal jokes, they forget. You don't know who you. Sometimes you say, oh yeah, I got this from Bruce.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
In my day, I said, hey, Bruce, do you mind if I do this joke? Because I know you do something similar.
Right.
And you don't even do it anymore. And every time I'm seeing you, you never do this joke. Can I do? Yeah, man, take it.
Yeah.
Take it. And then what's funny is then Bruce go back and start doing that joke.
That joke you reminded him.
I'm like, damn it, Bruce.
We just talked about this.
We just talked about this.
Yeah. Man, I had Quake one time. Love Quake. Earthquake, that is. And his opener, okay, I don't remember his name, but he had like this hat and had all these dreads, and then he takes it off, and he, goes through, and we're sitting back, we're working in the comedy club. We're watching this guy do Mark Curry's jokes, dad jokes, just the laundry list of every other comic.
Right.
And then he does a Quake joke. Okay. And before Quake goes up. So then the show goes up, Quake does his thing, and he just doesn't get this laugh from this one bit. Right. And he gets down, he goes back to the back, and I go, hey, Quake, hey, man, your dude's stealing everybody's jokes. Like, none of that's, just I'm naming them. This, that. He's like, no kidding. I go, yeah. I go, and that one joke about like, blah, blah, blah. You notice how it didn't work? And he's like, yeah. I go, because he did it about 10 minutes before you went up. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, yeah, could you do me a favor? I'm going to keep him on the show for this weekend. Would you just not bring him back next time?
Right.
And Quake's like, oh hell yeah, no, I can't. Like you can just sit and look like
face.
Of all the people you're gonna steal.
Yes.
I brought you on the road with me, and you're ganking my joke.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
he had a look on his face like this shit always hits.
Yeah,
why is it?
And it was, man. The look on his face when he did it, because we had heard him on the first show do it,
right?
And then he went, and I go, did you just steal Quake's joke from the first show?
Right.
And then sure as hell, he gets up there and he kind of does that look around like, oh, that fucking killed last night, whatever.
Man, I was in a city and I said, this is another Comic View joke. Shout out to all the school teachers, because y'all deserve a raise. Y'all are underpaid. It always gets half the room clapping.
Right.
I was a school teacher for 1 week. I mean, I quit on second period. I walked in my room, they playing loud music, crip walking, smoking weed and rolling dice. Then I found out I was in the teacher's lounge, and I was like, oh, thank God, y'all some big ass third graders. So the joke is I quit on my first day. Right. And then I go into the whole, it took me 30 minutes to call the roll, names Escalade. No, it's Escalade. So, and I always attribute that Escalade, Vaseline. Oh, Vaseline, okay. I know what this is. I had this before. Gonorrhea. That's Janoria. God damn it, we gonna be here all day. I attribute that shit to the Key and Peele sketch of them doing all them goddamn names.
Right.
Because you get those premises from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I did that on TV, and I did it once, and then the next time I did it, I had like 6 names for. I was like, I need all my medicine cabinet names over here. Lubriderm, Robitussin. I just started naming out different names. All my car names in the middle. Pontiac, I don't know, something I did. But then when you see somebody do a premise of, let's take all the names and just like, it's a clever sketch.
Right.
But at the same time,
was that sketch after you did this joke or before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did this sketch on Comic View.
I'm about to say. Yeah, that's
and I'm sure they sitting at the crib, not even thinking about comedy.
Right.
And then when it's time to do, or when they're in the writer's room, somebody goes, oh, I know one. How about we just do names of just crazy names?
Right.
And where I might be complaining, hey, Key and Peele did my names joke. And then everybody's like, hey, man, they murdered your names joke.
Or they think that's theirs.
That's their name joke.
You took this from Key and Peele.
Yeah, but then you'll be around Chappelle and he'd be like, oh, you bitching about a names joke. They stole my show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then you're like, oh, yeah, there's always levels to this. You know what I mean? But super dope brothers. Yeah. Jordan and Mike.
So talented.
Keegan. So fucking talented, bro. But here's the thing about LA. You always have writers' rooms on all these shows.
Right.
Those writers and those producers, they're in the comedy clubs. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, when you come back to work on Monday, and you're like, got a dope new premise, guys. Mm-hmm. The stars don't know. They're just like, oh, let's go.
Right.
And now you're building on a premise that somebody saw. I just saw The Big Bang Theory one day the Chuck Lorre show, and one of my good friends, his name is Eric. Forgot his last name, but
Okay.
But anyway, Eric is a nerd. Eric Schwartz.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And so Eric's whole thing is like almost like Darren Carter's a little beatboxy and a little like fun. But he has the glasses, and something he says, and ladies, let me tell you something. Don't let these glasses fool you. And then he's like, because I'm super cool. I go from nerd to word. And it gets a laugh.
Right.
Man, that was the goddamn commercial for the Big Bang Theory with the dude in the sweater and the mushroom haircut. And he was like, from nerd to word.
Literally.
Man, we was all texting Eric like, holy crap,
dude,
bro. He was furious. It's been his act for years.
Yeah.
Somebody saw it and went back to work and was like, you know,
I guarantee Blossom wasn't surprised.
that Amy Schumer joke and that big closer she had about the that's Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah, that was like classic Patrice.
Classic Patrice O'Neal. And you did it as your closer in a special.
And you had the money to buy jokes if you just didn't have. You could have bought one.
You could have just used a different joke.
Oh God.
Somebody should have been close, and that's sometimes.
And you're talking about the ghosting one,
yes.
right? Oh yeah.
I mean, he did a whole.
Oh, that was a good. That was
a classic. It was. Thank God for YouTube, because if you didn't go to Montreal,
and then
you would never know.
Yeah, they showed the side by side on that one. That's why I was like, oh no.
You know, it's just in those situations where talented people either have premises brought to them,
right,
or they just don't remember where they hear shit,
right.
You know, so.
But
it's these new people,
right?
Like I don't, you know, that whole Mencia and Rogan, you know, they had to do what they had to do.
Yeah, and that was. I
do
do think it was great for the industry 20 years ago. I think that really gave. I mean, that was beginning of viral. I mean, nothing really went viral, especially in the comedy industry, and I think that was a huge stepping stone for the comedy industry, because hacking and stealing jokes was really never a rule. Like we understood it as a rule, but like for him to call him out, and then you had to pick a side. And you know, Mencia at that time was I forget who he was repped by, but his manager was still managing the Rogan, and they had to choose between Mencia or Rogan, and they chose Mencia, and Rogan went on his own. And of the two careers, one is making one manager a shitload more money. You know, and I will give it to Ned Mencia, he did change. I mean, that was a moment of him having to, you know, humble himself. And he then, as he proceeded forward, his material, whether he's writing, I assume he's writing his stuff now, or somebody's buying, but he's not that guy, you know. But man, what a great thing for the industry, because it in a lot of ways it did kind of douche the industry, and people understood there was consequences now. So when you said earlier shaming them, you know, even to their face, you know, yes,
ain't nothing wrong with that. You got to.
You did something wrong. It's just like getting spanked when you're a kid.
Yeah,
you know,
it's your
like,
job.
Yeah.
When you see something and you're like, okay. You know,
yeah.
And you don't have to be the joke police, but just be like, yo,
that's not yours.
And if your buddy, and it's one of your buddies, like I used to call, if I'm on the road and I see something, I'll be like, hey, JB, what's up, brother? You good, brother? What's up, Finesse? Where you at? I'm in Miami. You in Miami? No, I'm not in Miami. I'm in LA. Why? Oh, okay, because I'm at the comedy club. Your jokes are in Miami right now. You lying. Brother, this dude is up here doing your whole worn out shoes joke. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, this is what you do. This is what you do. Because we like, no, man, protect our babies. One thing Mike Epps used to always say to me, every time I saw Mike Epps, he'd come off stage, I'd be like, man, brilliant. Don't steal my shit. He wouldn't say thank you. He'd be like, don't steal my shit.
I saw you in the audience. Don't steal my shit.
He just says that to everybody.
Okay.
Don't steal my shit.
Yep.
You know, and you're like, man, he'd be like, what's up, Finesse? He'd be dead ass serious.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
don't steal my shit.
I had years ago, there was a contest in Houston, went to go see, one of my friend comedians was on it, and he lost to this guy who was really funny, but none of his jokes were his. Like, he ended with a pterodactyl joke coming out at 2 a.m. with daylight savings time, you know, and it kills. And I'm like sitting there watching, like, that's Tosh. This is Daniel Tosh's material. And this guy literally goes online. There's an online voting, wins this big contest, gives him this huge opportunity. And I just reached out to Tosh and I was like, hey man, there's this guy. You know, here's his link. You might want to. Tosh like, oh, Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'll make somebody send a letter. But real funny was not stealing jokes. Here's one that was, so I had a phone call, this is probably 10 years ago or so, from George Lopez's manager, okay? And it was Josh Blue was headlining the club, okay? And so George's people call and say, hey, George is in town. He would like to come by and check out the show. He's a big fan of Josh Blue. Do you think you can set him up with a table? And I'm like, yeah, of course, George's family. Yeah, of course he can come by. And I haven't ever seen him, but my boss, because I'm the assistant bitch at this time, and my boss is like good friends with George. Okay. So I call up Trey and I'm like, hey, Trey, man, hey, Lopez is coming by tonight. Catch a show. And Trey's like, wow, okay. He called the club? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, why didn't he fucking call my cell phone? Okay, cool. Me and my wife are out. We'll come by and we'll say hi. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then he's going to go up. I go, no, apparently he doesn't want to hit the stage. He wants to come in through the back. But he just wanted to come see Josh, And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm waiting in the back. And this is where he had that, surgery and that during that time period. And so he shows up and I'm looking at him like, man, doesn't really look like George, but maybe I've never met him in person.
Right.
I've seen him and I know he had some kind of surgery and he comes in with this big scarf and this hat and all this shit, and he comes walking up the stairs and I'm going, oh, Mr. Lopez, come on in. So I bring him to the back and I'm just looking at him and he's all, yeah. And it's like your, beautiful eye. Oh, his eyes and his eyebrows did not look like George Lopez eyebrows, right? So he comes out and sits on the table and I put him over by the soundboard, table one, and he's sitting there and his wife has already walked in and his son and his mom's there and I'm just looking like I'm Googling his son like God, there's just not many pictures, fuck man, I don't think that's George Lopez,
It's Carlos Mencia.
Yeah, so Trey shows up and he goes, hey, where's he at? I go, I don't think it's him. And he goes, what do you mean? He's right there and he looks, that's not fucking George Lopez. And at this point, he's already ordered a bottle of like Moet or Dom Perignon. He's got the dinner, he got free tickets and all this shit. And now it's my responsibility to make him pay for everything. Okay. Right. But this is, in his eyes, George Lopez. Okay. So I go up to the table and I'm like, hey, here's your tab. And there's your tickets you need to pay for. And he's like, and I go, the show's now over, and I'm making him pay, and he's just being a dick, and he's with his mom. He's like, that's like his defensive lineman, because I'm not going to say shit in front of him to his mom, right? So she goes in the bathroom, and he brings us to the bathroom, now it's just me and him. And I'm like, listen, of all the fucking places, you're going to fake to be George Lopez. And the guy's name was like Michael George Lopez. I saw his credit card finally. And I'm like, of all the places, I have his fucking poster out in the hallway, Why would you? And he's like, just in there, like being quiet. And I'm like, just do me a favor. I want you to look around. This is the last fucking time you ever gonna come into this club. Like, how dare you disrespect him, And then his mom comes out and he grabs her and just looks over his shoulder and he just goes, oh yeah, and fuck your mom, to me. And I'm like, I just see red. I'm like, all right. Well, you're going to move quicker than anticipated. So I get him out in the hallway. The hallway is loaded with customers ready to come in for the next show. And I'm just walking down like, okay, yeah, if you're a celebrity, you need to sign into the celebrity guest log. We already have the fake George Lopez right here. And there's someone in the audience like crowd and I'm Chewbacca. And I'm just walking out and I'm fucking furious.
You should be.
Because A, we're sold out. B is I'm literally treating this guy like a god.
Michael George Lopez.
Yeah. And so it's always been this ongoing joke. And Trey called up George, gave him his information, and apparently George like sent some kind of like letter to him or had some attorney call him or whatever.
Derek Fisher does that with me too. Stop fucking telling people you're me at restaurants.
Then you don't have to pay, man. That's always good. Hey, man, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Sean,
thanks so much. I hope some comedians learned some things.
Absolutely.
Until next time, and I'll see you this evening. Have a great night.